In our world, there are events that, when heard, seem almost unbelievable. Today, I want to share one such incident that will surely leave you astounded. Believe me, after hearing this story, I myself felt deeply disturbed and ashamed as a man. It made me reflect on how bad humanity is becoming. After watching this video, you may truly understand the depths of human depravity. I kindly ask everyone to watch this video from beginning to end with full attention, as it holds great importance for all of you. But before we dive into the main story, please remember to subscribe to our channel to receive future updates. Today's tragic story is based on a real incident involving a grandfather and his granddaughter. The girl's name was Sumaya. She grew up in a happy, loving household with her parents and grandparents. As her parents' only child, Sumaya was cherished and adored. Her parents always ensured that she lacked nothing. Whatever Sumaya desired, her parents made sure to fulfill it. They would often say, "Sumaya is our only daughter, and everything we have is for her. We will never let her be unhappy." And so, Sumaya spent her days joyfully with her parents. One day, as Sumaya was preparing to go to school, she told her mother, "Mom, I need to go to school a bit early today because I have an exam." Her mother replied, "Wait a moment, Sumaya. There are a few things left to finish at home. I'll pack your lunch and walk you to school." But Sumaya, in a hurry, said, "No, Mom, you don't have to come with me today. It'll take too long, and I need to get to school quickly. Just prepare my lunch, and I'll go ahead." As Sumaya rushed to school with her lunch, her grandfather called out from behind, "Wait, Sumaya, I'll walk you to school. You're still young, and there could be dangers along the way. Let me accompany you." And so, Sumaya and her grandfather set off toward the school. The school wasn't far from their home, so they decided to walk. Sumaya, being lively and talkative, chatted with her grandfather as they walked. But suddenly, her grandfather stopped at a secluded spot on the road. Sumaya asked in surprise, "Grandpa, why have we stopped here? The school is still a little far from here." Her grandfather replied, "I have something important to talk to you about. Let's sit here for a moment, then I'll take you to school." Without thinking too much, Sumaya agreed, and they sat down. But what happened next in that quiet, isolated spot was beyond belief and filled with shame. Her grandfather, the person she trusted the most, tried to do something inhuman. Sumaya tried to resist. She cried, but her grandfather threatened her. The young girl couldn't understand why the person she loved most was doing this to her. In a burst of panic, she screamed loudly, and that made her grandfather back off. Terrified, Sumaya hurried to school. But when she returned home later that day, both her body and spirit were shattered. Overcome with fear and shame, she couldn't bring herself to speak to anyone about what had happened. Her parents, noticing her distress, asked, "Sumaya, what's wrong? Why do you look so sad?" But Sumaya couldn't answer. The next day, after coming home from school, Sumaya was sitting at her study table trying to focus on her studies. Her mother, preparing to leave with her father, told her, "Sumaya, we're going out for a bit. Stay here and don't go outside. If you need anything, your grandfather is at home. You can talk to him." This filled Sumaya with dread, for the memory of what her grandfather had done to her the day before haunted her mind. Sitting at the study table, she flipped through the pages of her book, but her thoughts were elsewhere. That event, from the day before, lingered like a wound in her mind. Her trust in her grandfather had shattered, but she was so young that she couldn't find the courage to tell anyone. As the evening darkness crept in, Sumaya heard her grandfather's footsteps approaching. Terrified, she shrank back. He entered the room and asked, "What are you doing, Sumaya?" Studying with her head lowered, Sumaya trembled. "Yes, Grandpa." Her grandfather came closer and, in a cold voice, said, "Why are you scared? I'm your grandfather. Why don't you talk to me?" Sumaya remained silent, her voice choked with fear. He sat down in the chair next to her and added, "If you tell anyone about what happened that day, it will be very bad for you. Do you understand?" In sheer panic, Sumaya nodded. Her grandfather continued, "Your parents are out, and I'm here. If you need anything, I'll take care of it, won't I?" As he spoke, his eyes grew more menacing, and he moved even closer to her. Frozen with fear, Sumaya felt paralyzed, unable to move or speak. But then, with all her courage, Sumaya decided she couldn't stay silent any longer. She thought, "If I remain quiet, he'll become bolder. I must do something." Suddenly she sprang up and said, "Grandpa, my stomach hurts. I'm going to the bathroom." Her grandfather, slightly surprised, nodded and said, "All right, go." Sumaya quickly locked herself in the bathroom, feeling scared. She kept thinking, "What if my grandfather tries to harm me? I won't be able to tell anyone about it." The memory of what had happened the previous day on her way to school made her more afraid. How could her beloved grandfather try to hurt her? She couldn't understand. And how had he turned so bad? Her mind was full of fear and confusion. She realized she couldn't stay alone with him in the house anymore. She needed to get away to feel safe. So, without wasting any time, she decided to go to the neighbor's house. She thought, "I'll stay there until Mom and Dad come back home. Then, I'll go back to our house." Meanwhile, her grandfather had been looking for her. When he finally found her at the neighbor's house, he asked, "Why are you here, Sumaya? I've been searching for you everywhere. You should be studying, not wasting time here." Since the neighbor aunt didn't know anything about what had happened, Sumaya quickly made an excuse. "I was studying for a long time, but I wasn't feeling well, so I came here to relax and talk with Auntie. Don't worry, I'll go home once Mom and Dad are back." Sumaya was secretly relieved that her quick thinking had saved her from being alone with her grandfather. She felt that if she had stayed at home, something bad might have happened. After spending some time at the neighbor's house, she went back home when her parents returned. That night, as Sumaya lay in bed trying to sleep, a memory from her childhood came to her. It was a time when she was much younger and didn't understand many things. One day, her mother had scolded her for something, and she didn't know why. She was too scared to say anything and just cried. It felt like the whole world was against her. At that moment, her grandfather had come to her, noticed her crying, and hugged her. He wiped her tears and said, "Don't worry, Sumaya. I'm here for you. Your mother was just upset, but you didn't do anything wrong." He had patted her head and tried to calm her down. To cheer her up, her grandfather took her to the store and bought her favorite chocolates and snacks. That day became a precious memory for Sumaya. She remembered sitting on her grandfather's lap, holding the bag of treats, feeling loved and safe. But now, everything had changed. Sumaya thought about her grandfather with pain in her heart. The man who once gave her love and comfort was now the one who tried to hurt her. Her memories of his kindness were clouded by what he had tried to do. She cried as she thought about how everything had turned upside down. How could the love he gave me turn into something so terrible? She wondered. Why did my grandfather start looking at me with such wrong intentions? These thoughts filled her with sadness, and she eventually fell asleep, still crying. The contrast between the warm memories of her childhood and the awful reality she was living now was tearing her apart. The next day, when Sumaya went to school, her teacher made an announcement. "Since your exams are coming up soon, we've decided to organize a picnic before the exams. All students, teachers, and even the school staff, like the janitor, will join. It will be a good way to relax before the exams." The idea of the picnic cheered Sumaya up, even if just a little. It gave her something to look forward to, something other than her worries about her grandfather. It was a small escape, and she was glad for it. Sumaya had a very close friend named Alicia. One day, when Alicia noticed Sumaya seemed upset in class, she asked, "Is there something wrong, Sumaya? Why are you so quiet today?" Sumaya stayed silent for a moment, and then tears welled up in her eyes. Alicia gently said, "If you're facing a big problem, you can tell me. Maybe I can help you." Hearing this, Sumaya thought for a while. Should I really tell Alicia? After thinking for a bit, she finally spoke. "My dear friend, right now, I'm in a really bad situation." Alicia urged, "Please tell me everything. Once I know, maybe I can help you." So, Sumaya shared everything about her relationship with her grandfather, including the uncomfortable incidents that had occurred. After telling Alicia everything, she said, "I never imagined my own grandfather would do something like this to me. How could he look at me with such bad intentions? How could he want to hurt me like this?" After listening to Sumaya's story, Alicia sat quietly for a moment. Then she said, "Why didn't you tell me about this earlier, Sumaya? You're my best friend. As your best friend, you should have told me all of this sooner." After saying this, Alicia continued, "Don't worry, Sumaya. I'm going to tell my father everything. You won't have to be afraid anymore. My father is the imam at our mosque, and he's a good man. I'm sure he'll do something about it. He will not let any wrong happen." Sumaya wiped her tears and asked, "Are you sure? You probably don't know that my grandfather will never admit these things himself." Alicia answered firmly, "My father will never tolerate something like this. Don't worry. If I tell him everything, he will take action. But if he wants to speak with you directly, you need to tell him everything just like you told me. Even though you've shared everything with me, when you tell my father directly, he'll understand the situation better." Sumaya felt a bit reassured by Alicia's words and wiped her tearful eyes. "I'm going through such a tough time, but after sharing everything with you, I feel a little better," she said. Alicia encouraged her. "We'll stay together, Sumaya. You're not alone." Then, the two friends hugged each other tightly. Sumaya made a vow in her mind. No matter how difficult things got, she wouldn't be afraid anymore. She had to fight for herself. That evening, Alicia went home and told her father everything about Sumaya. She explained everything from the beginning to the end about what Sumaya had been going through with her grandfather. Alicia also said, "Dad, today I saw my best friend Sumaya looking so sad, and it really upset me. Dad, I want you to treat Sumaya like your own daughter and help her. Please, solve this issue." Alicia's father, hearing the story, thought to himself, "How low have people become?" After listening to Alicia, he said, "I will take this matter seriously." Then, thinking about what to do next, he left the room. He was deep in thought about how he could handle the situation. He knew that this couldn't be made public because people today are cruel and love to gossip. So he decided to handle the matter quietly. However, he also realized that he couldn't solve this alone. He would need to talk to someone he trusted, someone close to him, to take the next steps. Meanwhile, the day for the school picnic was fast approaching. The day before the picnic, all the teachers entered the classroom and told the students, "Since we're going on a picnic tomorrow, please wear your school dress. We've decided to go tomorrow, so please be ready and come early to school. We'll gather in the schoolyard, and then we'll head to the picnic together." After the teachers left, Alicia turned to Sumaya and said, "Sumaya, I've told my father everything about you and your grandfather. I believe my father will do something about it. Please don't stay upset. Think about tomorrow's picnic. It'll be fun and will lighten your mood. We're all going to have a good time. As your friend, I'm asking you not to stay sad. I've explained everything to my father, and I saw how angry and disgusted he was when I told him about your grandfather. You can trust me. My father is on your side." Sumaya felt a little relief from Alicia's words. She wiped her eyes and said, "Thank you, Alicia. Even though I'm going through a hard time, after sharing everything with you, I feel a little better." Alicia smiled. "We'll get through this together, Sumaya. You're not alone." After hearing these words from Alicia, Sumaya felt a little better. Sumaya told Alicia, "I think my grandfather needs to be taught a lesson." She continued, "Trust me, Alicia. I've tried many times to tell my father these things, but I couldn't. I also thought that my father might think his own father has become so bad that he looks at his own daughter with such bad eyes. After thinking about all this, I never said anything to my father." Alicia responded, "Anyway, forget about these things now, Sumaya. We need to get ready for the picnic tomorrow. We have to prepare for it." Alicia told Sumaya, "Don't stress too much. Go home now, get ready for the picnic, and remember what the teacher said. The teacher already told us that we need to wear the designated school uniform for the picnic." With that, Alicia started heading home, asking Sumaya to go home quickly, too. On her way home, Sumaya began thinking, if Alicia's father could come up with a solution for her. While thinking about various things concerning her grandfather, she suddenly saw him on the way. Her grandfather, seeing Sumaya, suddenly said, "Sumaya, I haven't seen you much lately. We live in the same house, but I hardly see you." Sumaya, with some fear, replied, "Actually, Grandpa, we have exams coming up, so I have to study a lot. That's why I don't go out much." Then her grandfather suddenly said, "Well, I'm heading home too. Let's go together." As they walked towards home, her grandfather asked, "Hey, Sumaya, that day you went to the bathroom complaining of a stomach ache, but you never came back. Why did you go to that lady's house next door?" Hearing this, Sumaya was filled with fear. She wondered why her grandfather was suddenly bringing up this topic. Sumaya had realized that her grandfather had intended something inappropriate with her that day. After thinking for a moment, Sumaya replied, "Actually, Grandpa, I wasn't feeling well that day, so I decided to go talk to the lady next door since Mom and Dad weren't home." After saying this, Sumaya thought, "My grandfather is old, but why is his character so bad?" She understood that this was the reason her grandfather was bringing up the topic again, because that day no one was at home, and he wanted to take advantage of the opportunity. As they continued home, her grandfather started making inappropriate gestures and comments, but Sumaya ignored them and quickly walked ahead. Suddenly, her grandfather grabbed her hand. He said, "Listen, Sumaya, I've been wanting to tell you something for a long time." Sumaya, scared, said, "Grandpa, please let go of my hand first, then you can say what you want." Her grandfather replied, "There's no problem. I've just held your hand. I haven't done anything else." Sumaya could feel that her grandfather was acting inappropriately. She realized that he had been waiting for the right moment when there were no people around. Now that they were in a secluded area, he felt free to act in a disturbing way. Suddenly, her grandfather forced her into a secluded part of the road where trees and bushes concealed the view. As Sumaya was about to scream, her grandfather covered her mouth. He said, "I've been looking for an opportunity like this for a long time. I've had many chances, but you probably realized it. So you avoided me. But today, I won't let this opportunity go." Sumaya felt a horrible sense of dread as her grandfather, despite being old, spoke with disgusting words. At that moment, her grandfather touched her inappropriately. Sumaya knew that something terribly wrong was about to happen. She couldn't scream or resist. Her grandfather began fulfilling his disgusting intentions. Sumaya felt immense pain. She had no choice but to cry. Watching her grandfather's horrifying face, she was filled with disgust and hatred for him. Afterward, her grandfather quietly looked around to see if anyone was nearby. When he saw no one, he warned Sumaya, "Don't tell anyone about what happened today. If you do, you'll regret it." Sumaya cried and asked, "Grandpa, how could you do such a terrible thing to me? You're my own grandfather. Didn't you feel any shame doing this to me?" Her grandfather didn't listen to a word she said. It was as if her words went in one ear and out the other. Suddenly, her grandfather noticed that there was dirt on her clothes. He told her, "Clean your clothes with your hands." Sumaya, scared and traumatized by what had just happened, obeyed. Her grandfather then told her, "If your parents ask about the dirt on your clothes, just say you fell down on your way from school." Sumaya nodded quietly, agreeing with that. She walked home, feeling utterly defeated. After returning home, Sumaya noticed a faint stain of blood on her clothes. It didn't take her long to realize what that blood was from. Overcome with emotion, she began to cry uncontrollably. She was confused. How would she even begin to explain everything to her parents? But then, a thought struck her. What if they didn't believe her? Especially her father. How could he ever accept something like this about his own father without proof? Sumaya's heart felt a little lighter when she remembered that tomorrow they would be going on a picnic. Her friend Alicia had reassured her, saying that her father would support her. Yet, Sumaya never imagined that something so horrible would happen that very day. Suddenly, she made up her mind. She would tell her mother everything. That night, after dinner, when her father stepped outside, Sumaya tearfully shared the entire story about what had happened with her grandfather. Hearing this, her mother broke down in tears, asking, "Why didn't you tell me sooner? I'm your mother. You should have confided in me. If you had, I would have taken action." Sumaya responded, "I wanted to tell you many times, but I was too scared of Grandpa." Then, she explained, "But today, something terrible happened, and I couldn't stay silent anymore." She went on to tell her mother how she had confided in Alicia, and how Alicia had spoken to her father about it. Alicia's father promised to take it seriously. The thought of the picnic the next day had lifted Sumaya's spirits. Her teachers had organized the picnic before the exams, and she was looking forward to it. But little did she know that the journey back home would lead to such a horrific encounter with her grandfather. After hearing everything, her mother said, "Since you already told Alicia's father, I want to meet with him. I can't speak to your father about it yet. He might not believe it without proof. We'll gather evidence, and only then will we approach your father because of the way your grandfather has manipulated and threatened you." Sumaya replied, But tomorrow is the picnic. The teachers have requested everyone to attend since it's before our exams. I'll share everything with Alicia, and after that, I'll help you meet her father." Her mother agreed and then said, "Since you're going on the picnic tomorrow, you don't need to study tonight. You'll be busy tomorrow, so get some rest and sleep early." However, as Sumaya lay in bed, she couldn't sleep. Thoughts of what lay ahead flooded her mind. Would she be able to teach her grandfather a lesson? Lost in these thoughts, she eventually drifted off to sleep. The next morning, as they prepared to leave for the picnic, Sumaya's grandfather approached her with a warning. "Listen, Sumaya, don't you dare tell anyone about what happened yesterday. If you do, things won't end well for you." His threats had always terrified her before, but today, Sumaya felt different. Having confided in her mother, she was no longer afraid. After her grandfather left, Sumaya immediately told her mother about the warning. Her mother reassured her, "Don't worry about that. I'll walk you to school. You don't need to be alone with him. I'll make sure of it." After a quick breakfast, Sumaya and her mother set out for school. On the way, they encountered her grandfather again. He tried to convince her mother to go back home, saying he would accompany Sumaya to school. But her mother, fully aware of his motives, cleverly replied, "No, I need to stop by the market. I'll walk Sumaya to school, and then I'll do the shopping afterward." Her grandfather, sensing his plans foiled, said nothing more. Sumaya and her mother continued on to school. Upon arriving, Sumaya found that Alicia was already there. Once the picnic began, Sumaya shared everything with her friend. Alicia was furious after hearing about what Sumaya had endured. "You should have told me earlier," she said. "If you had, we wouldn't have needed this picnic today. Your grandfather needs to be taught a lesson." Sumaya, feeling relieved that she had finally shared the burden, nodded. She felt comforted knowing that her mother and Alicia's father were ready to take the next steps in seeking justice. Anyway, after the picnic, on the way home, Sumaya told Alicia, "Tomorrow, I'll bring my mom to your house." Alicia replied, "Don't worry, Sumaya. I'll talk to my father today and tell him everything about you." Sumaya went home and shared everything with her mother about Alicia. Sumaya's mother said, "Okay, tomorrow we'll go to Alicia's house in the morning." Following their plan, they went to Alicia's house the next morning. When they arrived, Sumaya's mother began talking to Alicia's father. At first, Sumaya's mother said to Alicia's father, "I wanted to tell Sumaya's father everything, but I didn't have enough proof, so I couldn't. Now, please advise me on what I should do." Alicia's father replied, "My daughter Alicia had already told me everything about your daughter. I've taken this matter seriously. I'll talk to Sumaya's father, and I'll say it in a way that he'll believe me." Alicia's father reassured Sumaya's mother, "Don't worry. Tomorrow, I'll come to your house and explain everything to your husband." After some conversation, Sumaya and her mother returned home. The next day, Alicia's father and Alicia went to Sumaya's house. They began talking to Sumaya's father. Alicia's father started by saying, "I have something important to discuss with you. I don't know how to start because it's very embarrassing and sensitive. I came to your house because, if this becomes public, people will speak ill of your family." Alicia's father then asked Alicia to tell Sumaya's father what had happened. Alicia began to speak. "Uncle, you know that Sumaya is my best friend. We're very close, and we always share each other's problems and joys. It might be hard for you to believe, but your father, Sumaya's grandfather, has done horrible things to her." Alicia then told Sumaya's father everything from the beginning to the end. Afterward, Alicia's father told Sumaya's father, "My daughter Alicia had told me this before, but I couldn't speak to you earlier because I didn't have sufficient proof. Now, I'm telling you because your father has already done something awful to your daughter." Sumaya's father called Sumaya and asked, "Sumaya, is what Alicia and her father are saying true?" Sumaya nodded and replied, "Yes, Dad, it's all true. I had already told Mom, but I couldn't tell you. I was afraid you wouldn't believe me." Sumaya's mother said, "Yes, Sumaya told me earlier, but I couldn't tell you because I wasn't sure you'd believe it. That's why I asked Alicia and her father to come here." Suddenly, Sumaya's father began crying uncontrollably. While crying, he said, "I never imagined that my father could do something like this to my own daughter." Everyone was shocked by this. It seemed that Sumaya's grandfather had done similar terrible things in the past. Sumaya's father continued crying and said, "None of you know the secret about my father that I know. 10 years ago, he did something awful to my cousin's daughter as well. We didn't tell anyone because we feared people would speak ill of our family, and no one would want to marry my cousin's daughter if they knew. We kept it a secret. But I never imagined my father would do something like this to my own daughter." Everyone was stunned when they heard this from Sumaya's father. Alicia's father then asked, "What do you want to do now? Don't you want to punish your father for what he did?" Sumaya's father replied, "If I call the police, they'll investigate, and everyone in the village will know. Then my daughter Sumaya will never be able to get married. People will say, 'I'm not going to marry a girl who was raped by her own grandfather. As bad as my father's actions are, he is still my biological father. I don't want the police to arrest him at his old age. Our family's honor will be destroyed. That's why I've decided to leave this house. I'll tell everyone I'm going for a job in the city and take Sumaya and her mother with me. I won't try to stay in touch with that heartless man anymore. Only if Allah guides him, I might talk to him someday." So, according to Sumaya's father's decision, they moved to the city. However, before leaving, Sumaya's father angrily told his father, "A father like you, with such a bad character, should never exist in this world. I'm leaving this house because of your shame. If it weren't for our family's honor, I would have made your life miserable, father." Sumaya's grandfather didn't respond and just looked down, saying nothing. How could he answer? There is no answer to such behavior. Dear viewers, those of you who have watched this video so far, what do you think? Did Sumaya's father do the right thing by not punishing her grandfather? What would have been the better course of action? Should Sumaya's grandfather have been punished properly? On the other hand, if this matter had become public, people would have spoken badly about their family, and there would have been negative criticism. We await your comments.